Showing up shouldn't look like performing. Yet, for many of the business owners that we help, it feels more like a performance when they have to show up. Content creation for them feels more like pressure instead of purpose. In this series, we're unpacking our real experiences with our clients, from the breakdowns to the breakthroughs, and how we've helped them reclaim their voice, their time, and their confidence using automation and other skills.
What kind of business owners struggle the most with showing up online? And why do you think that is?
Okay, so I feel like every business owner struggles when showing up online. I don't think there's any business owner that finds it natural, or most business owners don't find it natural to show up online. And they're struggling because it's sometimes a performance. So they have to perform in front of the camera. I ever seen like that, a dancing monkey, where you're like, okay, dance for a treat. And this day and age where we have a lot of social media, and social media really dictates how your business will grow for the most part, right? Because if you're not showing up online, you're not making business, you're not doing business. People want to see what your Instagram looks like, what your LinkedIn looks like. They want to be able to find your business. They want to find other people that are connecting with your business. And it kind of builds trust and loyalty with the people that you're trying to sell your products and services to. That being said, because of that, it adds extra pressure on business owners, because they not only have to build the business, they now have to create content. And before, a business owner could just create an ad, um, uh, put it out on Google, and people would come because now they're like, okay, well, I've seen this ad a couple of times. I'm going to do business with this company. Now it's like if they check their social media profile and there's nothing there, then all of a sudden they're like, okay, well, let me go to someone else that already has a presence online.
Have you ever worked with a client who had a powerful message but just couldn't bring themselves to record a video?
OMG. Yes, I've definitely worked with clients that were amazing at their job. Um, they had a really powerful message to share, but they literally could not get in front of the camera. They just froze. And we've tried everything. We've given them scripts. We've, told them, hey, listen, just create content. All we need are still images of you working. Shouldn't be hard, right? Here's the equipment. This is what you need to do. And literally, for them to just do that and send us the image didn't work. They could not get themselves to just show up for their business.
What's the most unexpected thing a client ever told you about their fear of being seen online?
Oh, there's so many. They don't look good. They don't want to show up online because they feel like they don't look good in the photo, or when they take the picture of themselves, that they're not looking the best. They're afraid of what people will say if they see them, like friends and family, what the fears around showing up online. Sometimes they feel like when they record, or their voice is recorded, it doesn't sound like them, like they've never heard themselves on audio before. um we had like really weird situations, like the background isn't good enough, the the setup isn't good enough, they have to put on makeup and they don't like how they look with me. I mean, the story goes on and on and on and on and on. A million stories about why they can't show up online.
What are the signs that a client isn't just busy, but actually avoiding visibility?
Ooh, okay, for this one, okay, so we've had clients that have not been able to put themselves out there, and in terms of like even getting clients. So they want the clients to come in, but once the clients come in, they're afraid of putting themselves out and even speaking to the clients that they're asking for. So you can flood a client with leads, and then the problem is that all the leads come in at once and they don't know how to even deal with the number of leads that they get. And that's also an issue. because of the fear of not being able to do the job well enough and getting negative reviews. That's also a fear. Or the fear of not being able to service so many people and giving them the same quality of work.
What kind of emotional walls have you noticed behind the phrase, I just don't have time to record content?
Ooh, okay. So this one is good. So I feel sometimes in our industry, we're almost like psychologists, right? So what ends up happening is when you ask a client to record content, every wall that they have or fear comes up. It is the fear of showing up for themselves. It is the fear of just being themselves, putting themselves out there. And it's literally just showing up for themselves. Two things, showing up for themselves and procrastination, are the two things that I see the most. They procrastinate so much because they overthink everything. And if it's not perfect, they don't put it out and they don't show up for themselves. So if you are a client that falls in any one of these categories, my advice is to just show up. And if you're working with a team that's willing to help you, just show up. And if you have any kind of questions or fears or concerns, then if you have someone there that's trying to help you with your social media strategy, my advice is to actually just speak to them, have a conversation, because you never know what it is that they can do to help you to overcome that barrier. And especially in this industry where there's so much AI and automation, having a simple conversation makes it that much easier, because a lot of those things are easily automated. But it's just speaking and knowing that, okay, that's something that can be automated. So if it's, for example, I don't like how my image is looking, we can beautify it. If it's, I'm afraid to speak, we can automate your mouth with AI cloning. There's so much technology out there that you really don't have to be afraid. You're a business owner. Your job is to get in front of your ideal audience and basically share your message, share your business, because your business may be helping and impacting tons of other people and they need your service. Do not be afraid to share what you have.
Why do you think so many entrepreneurs feel like they have to perform instead of just being themselves online?
I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs feel like they have to be somebody else online, or they have to perform online because they are busy looking at the wrong metrics. They're looking at follower count. How many people are out there? Like, my channel doesn't have 50,000 or 100,000 views, or I'm not getting the right views. I don't have a large following, and they feel like they need to be doing exactly what they see other content creators doing. And that's not the right approach, and that's not the right strategy. Your strategy is to talk to your ideal audience and sell your products to the people that you want to attract, not what everyone else is attracting, not what everyone else is doing. And that is the wrong approach and wrong strategy. You know, the larger accounts, their goals are vanity metrics, meaning they just want large followings, and they could be doing it for different reasons. Maybe they're doing it for ad revenue. So that means that they need large numbers in order to have ad networks pay them for ads. Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they want brand sponsorship. Maybe they want to travel, and they're looking for like free travel. Everyone does social media and everyone is growing their business for something different. Do not base your business and your strategy on someone else's strategy. Your strategy needs to be individualized for your business. And I need more entrepreneurs to understand that your business is different than anyone else's business.
Why is there so much shame or guilt wrapped up in not being visible?
Wow. There is so much shame wrapped around not being visible because it is all about the ego, right? And And funny story. So I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about the numbers that smaller accounts tend to the smaller accounts tend to earn more. They're growing more organically, and they have more people that are actually supporting and listening than people that are just joining and just because they have high numbers, so they want to be a part of the herd. It's very hard to explain that to a customer that sees all these different things, because when you're scrolling through social media, you are looking at all these accounts that have all these different numbers. And what tends to happen is other entrepreneurs and other businesses online shame other people that have smaller accounts, because that's how they make money, right? But that's not how it works in actuality.
Why do some clients sabotage their growth by resisting video, even when they know it works?
Whoa. Everyone's afraid to be on video. Everyone's afraid to be visible. Everyone. I mean, I've had different people on the podcast, from all different segments, all different walks of life. They have huge accounts, small accounts, big businesses, small businesses. Everyone is afraid of the camera. So for a podcast segment, just for an example, we do this thing where we do this 30-minute onboarding. So on our 30-minute onboarding, I get the opportunity to ask them anything, any question, talk about their business in any way. And every single time I can say that that call has been the best ever. Like the best call, the best interview, the best everything. That call is phenomenal. But when we go live or when we are actually filming the podcast, the person 90% of the time that I get is totally different than the person on that pre-interview. Why? Because they're afraid of visibility. They're afraid of the camera. And not everybody who owns a business signed up to be a content creator, a model, or a dancer, an actor, a singer. But in the social media society where everything is about being visible all the time, you have to be that person to your business. But there are other ways of doing it. But I'm just saying that's why the whole video thing, them being scared of being video on video.
Why do you think automation is misunderstood by business owners who think it will make their content less human?
So I think that when people see automation, they think that everyone that connects with their business, right, needs that personal touch. So they need to be the one to share the message. And let me be clear about that, right? That's not 100% of the business owners. That's just some of the business owners that think that way. Because whether you want it or not, we've adapted to technology over time. I'm going to give you a great example. So when you used to call a business before, you would get a live person that would answer the phone. And then over time, then you would hear an automated message that said, press this button to connect to this person. Or if you need to be helped, I can help you. For example, if you call a bank, or if you call, you can now press a different button to get a different response. And we've become so used to using those automated systems that it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to get an automate. And some people press the buttons and go through the system and get help. And some people press 0 for operator. That being said, we've now become used to and we adopt to that system. I do believe that over time and really short time, we're going to adapt to automation way faster. The difference is you are going to have people that position their business first, and they're going to position their business faster than other people. People are going to be very slow to that change. And the people that are slow to automation are the people that are going to get left behind.
Why is it so hard for some clients to let go of control, even when they're overwhelmed?
This is 150% of a lot of small business owners and founders. It's your baby, it's your idea. So even if you are self-sabotaging, you are still holding onto the reins. I had to learn this along the way. And I also learned this from a lot of mentors and a lot of entrepreneurs that I've had on the podcast. It's very hard to let go of the reins for a couple of reasons. You rarely find people that are gonna care for your business the same way that you care for your business, right? And the you don't want to have someone else do it and not do it right. But by trying to be everything in your business, there's no way as your business grows that you can be there to do every single solitary thing. I had to learn about systems and automation the hard way, right? And I have spent a couple of years now working with businesses and just trying to even that's why we created a podcast, right? We created a podcast, Entrepreneurial Truth, to talk to other businesses to see what systems they're putting in their business to make it easier and accessible, and learn from other businesses. And I think it's essential to have the right systems and automations in your business, because if you don't, you're going to drown. You're going to drown. You can't be everything to everybody all at once. There's no way, because you can't scale a business. I'll give you a good example, right? Some business owners, instead of putting in automation, they put in people, right? So you have two spheres. Some people put in automations and some people put in employees, and you keep adding more and adding more expenses with employees. But automation can automate a lot of those things that you do that those people could do. So it's a good and a bad thing, right? You just have to see what works best for your business. So a couple of tips that I would recommend is audit your business. Sit down and figure out what it is your business needs, what can be automated, who can automate those things for you, or what systems can you find to make, if you have employees, make their jobs and lives easier. That's one of the best tips. And from all of the tasks that you're doing on an everyday basis, what's repetitive? Just sit down and look at what are your repetitive tasks, and if you can, automate those things.
How did you handle a client who refused to be on camera but still wanted content?
Okay, how we handled a client that wanted content. So we basically sourced the information for the clients and basically said, "Hey, listen, you're going to talk about these things, and we need to essentially provide you with the script." And the client just read it. Another way that we did it was we asked the specific client if she would just send us photos. And another way we did it is we created the content and we posted it on their platform daily for them to make it appear as if they did it.
How do you guide a perfectionist client who won't post unless everything is just right?
We did a curated feed. So we curated a feed for the client and we posted for the client and basically said, "Hey, we're going to create a segment for you where all you'd have to do is just talk about something that you could just read on the screen once a week. Your only job, just read from your screen once a week and we handle the rest."
How did you support a client who had a story worth sharing but was paralyzed by self-doubt?
So a lot of the times, if they have content or a story worth sharing, it's all about automation. Everything can be automated, from showing up to phone calls to intakes. We have it all, whether it be AI voice agents, whether it be automated content generation, whether it be we handle it all. Seen it all, handle it all.
How do you balance pushing a client outside their comfort zone versus respecting their pace?
Oh, that's a hard one. Okay, so everyone has fears around a certain thing. What we need to know as an agency is what that is, to be able to customize and create the right solution. Because once we know what you don't want to do, then we know what you will be able to do. And a lot of that stems from automation. What can we automate in your business to make A, your life easier, and B, have you show up for your business and for your clients?
How have you used automation creatively to help clients feel like they're still personally showing up?
A lot of that comes down to the audit. So once we do the audit in the business, we can know, okay, what do you need to do to make your clients happy? Where are you falling off, and what's happening in your business? What systems can we create to make sure that you're showing up? And that could just be email automation. It could just be an email sequence that says, hey, how are you doing today? So that, if your client is having an issue, they can respond to that email. And at that point, you can say, okay, this is what's happening in the business. All right. So I would say different clients require different solutions. Depends on what type of business, what kind of will determine what kind of solutions you need. For example, if you're a large company and you have a large team, but you don't want to go into hiring anymore, but you know that you have other people in the business that have different skill sets, or they'd be better suited for a different area, maybe we can automate some of the tasks that they're working on in order to free up their time to move to do more important tasks. So an audit is really, really important. And then we can go in and we can set up whatever system in there, or automation or AI. For example, you may not need to answer the phone to make a reservation for, if you're a restaurant. We could go in and basically create an automation to answer the phone, to take the reservation, to explain about parking, anything like that. I mean, there's so many things that automation can do now, that can then take that person and have them do something more important in the business. The key is to create better systems, to create smarter workflows.
What's one project that didn't go as planned, and what did it teach you about your process?
Ooh, okay. So one project that didn't go as planned was a system to set up an AI automation for our clients. And the workflow, or the way that we had to set it up, was too difficult for the client to implement. And what that taught us is that we also need simpler systems, because there are some clients that, even though you're walking them through the steps, those steps may seem easy to you, but may seem complicated to a client if they have a lot on their plate. So easier deliverability was something we learned from that.
Have you ever had a client who ghosted halfway through content creation? What did you learn?
Yes, definitely had clients that ghosted. Um, the clients that ghosted, I would say we learned a lot. We learned what we stopped and said, okay, what did we do wrong, and where did they fall off? Was it something that we asked them to deliver? Could it have been delivered easier? Should we have asked it at the beginning of the process? Um, we definitely take each experience as a learning experience in order for us to be able to say, hey, listen, where did they fall off, and why did they fall off? Analyze each situation and be able to come up with a better solution for it, because essentially every business is always learning. That's the process of business and entrepreneurship. You're constantly learning. What did you do, and what could you do better?
What's the hardest thing about working with clients who want visibility but don't want to do visibility?
The hardest thing with working with clients that want visibility but don't want to do visibility is getting them to do the things to help themselves. So helping them get out of their own way is the hardest part, because you can automate systems easily, but in order to automate it, you need to get the content to automate it. So I think the hardest part is just allowing them, like getting them to get out of their own way to be able to help them, because that if their business doesn't do well, you're not gonna get the great referral, or you know um you're not going to be successful if they're not successful, right? And it's a very hard pill to swallow, because you want them to be successful. And I mean, for them to grow, you really need them to just do what they need to do.
What is the process that you're doing now?
So the process that we're doing now is a fairly simple funnel. We get all the information up front about the business and the business needs so that we know. And now we've put questions in place that will allow us to know what those fears are and what could potentially come up later on that would inhibit them from showing up for their business. And once we know, we can make sure that we put that into the strategy of what automations we're going to do. So if it means that they don't have the time, then we know, okay, fine, you don't have the time. We need to get an AI avatar in there. That's going to be your person. That's going to handle your social media for you. Instead of you having to show up on a day-to-day basis, we're just going to create a new persona. And that's one of the workarounds for clients that don't want to show up for their own business. Now, in terms of them getting too many leads and not being able to respond to those leads, we've put a couple systems in place that we find have worked really, really well. So that's our voice agents. So our voice agents can now handle those phone calls. If they're getting too many leads, that can be that first point of contact, right? And if that person gets on the phone and doesn't want to talk to the AI agent and wants to be transferred, that's something that we do now. So we transfer the agent, we transfer them over to someone else, and we set that up for the customer. So I think those are a couple of things that we found that have started to work a lot better for our clients, and just improve the workflow. Because if we know our clients better and we understand their needs once they come through the door, then it's much easier for us to help them automate the process. Because automation can be fun, if it's used in the right way.
What do you wish more business owners understood about showing up online?
So I wish that more business owners understood that when you show up online authentically, you are building an audience of people that truly understand who you are as a business owner and are willing to invest in your business. Because a lot of people buy because they're buying from you. They want your service, they want your product, right? So they're investing in you. So it's important for you to show up online. It's important for you to show up online, and it's important for you to have the right systems to be able to handle the business that's coming into you. But essentially, you have to show up online because everyone needs some sort of social media presence, whether it be a website so people can look to see what services you offer, whether it be social media content to be able to speak about your products and service, or if you can't speak about your products or service, have some sort of system in place that it's going to tell them what kind of, because people do a lot of investigation now in terms of like, what products is your product going to serve them and how it's going to serve them, how it's going to help them. So if they type, for example, hey Google, show me a business that sells avocados or sells steak, I don't know, restaurant. Hey Google, show me a restaurant in my area. And they find 4 different restaurants. They're going to go to the restaurant that has the best presence, has the best photos. Um, and that's basically how consumers are shopping now. They're going to look online first to see which business has the best presence.
If you could go back and coach your first few clients again, what would you do differently?
Ooh, if I could go back and coach my first few clients, I would say to them to trust the process, to think about the long term of the business and the business growth, right? And I would ask them to deliver the content up front, right? And when I say deliver the content up front, meaning deliver what they can about their business, that would be able to sell their business in the best way to their ideal client or their ideal avatar, right? That's how I would coach them. And basically, I think essentially every business owner needs mentorship and coaching as it relates to getting out of their own way.
What's your agency's biggest win when it comes to helping a client finally feel confident showing up?
Our biggest win with having a client show confidently was a series that we helped a client create, and the client was able to show up because the engagement on the content showed them that, listen, people are listening, people are liking. And I think when they started to get more phone calls, it also made them more confident and show up online more, because then they realized by putting that content out, even though they were afraid to, it actually led to more people, more engagement in their business.
What story will you keep telling over and over because it reminds you why you do this work?
The story I'll keep telling over and over is about my own journey and how I landed in the whole process of creating systems. I had a business that failed. When the business failed, I went and looked to a mentor that could teach me about systems, because without having the proper systems, or because you don't know what you don't know, right? Having the right systems in place taught me that every business needs systems. Every business needs systems. Every business needs systems and automation, because if you can automate it, everybody that goes through your door will get the same level of service from day one if it's automated service. That's it. Everybody can get that same service. And if that business owner has a great model and exceptional service, they can duplicate themselves all the time, so that everybody that goes through gets the same quality, same level, exceptional service every single time. So if you have a business and you want to grow your business and you're afraid to shop online and content creation is just not your thing, there's a way to do that through faceless automation, right? A lot of it can be done, but you still need to show up online. So it doesn't matter, what type of content you're creating, whether it's faceless or whether you're showing your face in a content. You still need to be able to tell your customers about your business, and by doing so, that requires you to show up online, whether it be a website, whether it be through ads. But you still need to be able to educate your clients about what it is you do, who it is you serve, and what products you have. Visibility isn't just about posting, it's about owning your voice. And if you're ready to stop hiding and start scaling, we're ready to support you. Catch you in the next episode, where we dive even deeper into what most people won't say out loud.